Jayden, and today we will talk about entrepreneurship life, crypto, and even space a bit. So, Jayden, I want to give you a chance to make your introduction, and let's move on.
Sure. So my name is Jayden Sage. I work in a couple of industries. The one closest to my heart, actually, people have said that your mind belongs to space, but your heart belongs to crypto. So I think that was a very accurate statement. I love blockchain, crypto, the entire ecosphere, primarily because of the fact that it speaks to one of the most important, basic, fundamental rights we have, which is equality. So decentralization facilitates equality. So this is why crypto is so important. And this is why we are all gunning for it, despite all the obstacles, we keep gunning for it. I've been in the space for far too long. I've done everything that somebody does in this space. I've advised startups. I've done mining operations. I've spoken around the world on Bitcoin, blockchain, crypto, decentralization. And even now we have an operation called Global Crypto Council, which advises governments, family offices, etc., on crypto adoption and their crypto strategy. So it's still one of our core ethos, business mindsets, and we love it. So here we are.
Perfect. So, Corey, let's talk about. It's interesting to talk about your background first of all. How did you get on this? How did you start? When it happened? So, what was your the biggest paradigm shift in your career? So, how you get there?
Yeah, so it actually, I have that burned in my head because I get an email from a friend of mine and he sends me Satoshi Nakamoto's paper. This is in 2010. Sends me Satoshi Nakamoto's paper and he's like, hey, what do you think of this Bitcoin? I'm like, what the hell is that, right? Like, so he goes, read it, give me your summary of it. Like, give me your understanding. What do you think? So I read it and I gave him my summary. He moved on to whatever he was doing. And I wasn't so intrigued by the Bitcoin component because Bitcoin is just one application of blockchain. But what intrigued me, and I encourage everybody to read Satoshi Nakamoto's paper. It's only 6-7 pages. It's written for the average individual. It's not written from a technical perspective. And in it, you can capture the ability to have decentralization and a trustless society. So what does trustless mean? It means that I don't have to trust somebody. There is a block of information contained, encapsulated, immutable, which means it's captured. You can't change it. And then there's another block of information, and there's a chain linking each of these blocks. That's why it's called blockchain, right? So this allows you to not have to trust the counterparty. So I don't have to know the other person that I'm sending money to because I can capture their information and know exactly who it went to. So this is the decentralization component of blockchain, which is going to continue to permeate more and more industries. Because at the end of the day, as much as we get caught in the human dynamic of greed and like, I want more than the other person, deep down, we all have a yearning that we should all have equality, that we should all aspire to have everything that we need to live this very short, very hard life, which we think is long, you know? So I want to touch on something that, you know, is outside of blockchain. When I was in high school, I was in a special science class, and I used to study what's called Drosophila melanogaster. Those were flies that lasted, they lived 3 years. 3 days. So a fruit fly, when you see a fruit fly and you smack it, next time don't smack it. They only live 3 years, and in that 3 years, they are born. They go through their teenage years. They mate. Then they're living their old age, all within 3 years. So it's such a short span, and I bet you they don't think it's very short. They think it's so long. But we think, oh my God, they only live 3 days. So we kind of also don't live that long. So if we can not only make our lives better, but other people's lives better, then we can all achieve this yearning that we all have for betterment for everybody, not just for number one, you know, yourself.
Definitely. Wow. Honestly, I just it's an amazing speech, first of all, and this powerful story behind it, how actually the hello, but before we will continue, I just wanna let you know where you can find the best product design and web development services. and that's the company called Oliinyk. So here in our company, you can get the most tremendous and exciting UI UX design services combined with web development skills. Moreover, you can use our excellent calculator staff just to collect your order, because again, Oliinyk is where unicorns are made. And if you want to get your $1 billion company, you definitely need to have a nice design and development co-founder. And Oliinyk focusing on B2B, startups, products, any other technical company, especially in Web3, AI, and fintech fields. So here you can see a bit more about our benefits against agencies, freelancers, hiring processes. So it's always better to have your own in-house team. So don't hesitate. Explore our services in our website, oliinyk.com. Explore our case studies, and let's make something beautiful. So looking forward for you below. Thank you so much for watching this episode, and let's move on. Idea just started and how you jump in into the space, into the topic. Industry in general. So that's interesting. But again, it's interesting, like to understand. You got into the crypto space, like what is your primary focus right now? So how are you making people's life better in that area?
Yeah, so that's a good question. So from the knowledge perspective and from the speaking engagements, I speak around the world. So that is effectively my tone is not technical. I focus on the empowerment, because what I've noticed in the beginning when I first was pushed onto the stage, it wasn't something I was seeking. I was just pushed onto the stage. And I noticed that there was a psychological challenge that people suffered from. Number one was the imposter syndrome. Number two was why me? Number three, I don't deserve it. Number four was that it's never going to work for me, a pessimism. So all of these I saw as far bigger challenges than the technical. Technical, like, bro, read a paper, read the pitch deck, read some information, go on YouTube. So you have all of that. So you don't need a guy like me to go out there and give you the technicals when you could get that yourself. But what I notice is that the only empowerment that people give out there is like a Tony Robbins or something where it's so broad that it doesn't cover specifically the challenges that people have within the crypto industry or the startup world. I mean, the startup world is hell. I know people think it's sexy, but as Steve Jobs says, it's like chewing glass. So it's a very hard place, and most people look inward and say that, oh, I must suck, I must be bad, and that's why I can't succeed in this. But in reality, everybody's going through the same thing. You have many failures in startup land, and you got to keep going until you find the vehicle that's going to give you some success. But you don't know that, and you get caught up in these four dynamics where you're caught trying to figure out what to do. And the saddest thing is people give up. When you give up, you're losing. Well, this is going to get a little controversial, but you're losing your freedom. So when you work for a company, so let's say you give up, you tried a couple of startups and you gave up. What you're losing is your autonomy, your freedom, your sovereignty. Yeah. So you're losing that, because when you start trading your brain resources, your time, not just your time, but your brain resources for money, you are captured into a prison, a system that doesn't facilitate your creativity. Yes, you get paid. Yes, you get paid more than when you're working at a startup. Yes, you work less hours, because after 5, 6, 7, whatever time you end your day, you're done. You could go home and watch Netflix. I don't get to watch Netflix because, there's always something going on with some startup. I have teams in different parts of the world. So there's always somebody awake blowing up my phone because of the time zone differences. And, so you don't get to enjoy a movie or whatever, but you do claim a certain amount of freedom that you don't get in a job. And this is the important thing that I would like people to understand, because the greatest startups, the greatest endeavors come from our creativity. They don't come from somebody sitting in a cubicle and going to innovate the shit out of his life. So you're not going to get a Steve Jobs, a Bill Gates, or place any successful person. You're not going to get that from a cubicle. You're going to get that from somebody who's in the trenches, far more of a hunter than somebody who's a gatherer. So you want to be the hunter. And in the land of hunters, you only eat what you kill. You don't kill, you don't eat. So that's a whole different dynamic that you're operating under. So you need to be optimized. You need to bring your A game, and you need to do that while your startup is still not making any money. So, it's not a rosy picture. Society just sees startups as like, oh my God, that startup made it. It became a unicorn. These people are driving like, Lambos now. Yeah, but how many companies did they fail at before they got there? But in that moment is where people are failing. So many people are jumping off because they're like, this is too hard for me. I'm not qualified. I'm not the person. I have imposter syndrome. Why me? And my answer to all of those is, why not you? You bring unique characteristics, unique set of skills, unique perspectives that nobody else has. Yes, there's 7 billion people, but I guarantee you, your perspectives are unique. Yeah. And it's important for you to share it with the world. Because if you don't, and you just accumulate some wealth and die one day, then we all lost. You're not the only one who lost. We all lost from your great perspective, which was we all got deprived of. So this is where we need to be there. We need to be there for each other to say, it's okay, keep going, keep fighting, keep going onwards and upwards.
Honestly, I would agree here with you on totally, because even when I'm in the process of building Yuvan Core, now it's not like a startup, but it's still using to work in the startup way. And yeah, that's honestly the most complicated stuff ever. Lots of stress, lots of issues, lots of crazy stuff is going on. But everyone is like, oh, that guy might have a company. It generates something for him. They have a client and etc. etc. Yes, definitely. But we working too much and so hard and lots of responsibilities on my shoulders. And actually, but that's the deal, because I'm trading my capacity, my knowledge, my talent to gain something more in future. And now as well, actually, now I'm getting something to win big in the future. And that's definitely what every founder should know and think about that. Because honestly, when you're a startup founder, I would agree, you wanted to give up every fucking day, because after all of the stress you can have on you. But again, if you will not give up, you will have big story later on. And I definitely agree that, like when you have the most desire to give up, that's exactly the moment when you can't give up, because in that specific time, the magic happens and things starting to become better. And if you will stay in this position and you will not give up, you will just stay, become stronger, take your lessons, boom, after that will be that result, that desired goal. I strongly believe in that, and I even can see from our growth perspective that every time when we had the biggest struggles and it was like the end and the most desire to give up, every time we just tried to be stronger. And after that, magic things happened. So I am pretty agreed here that you should not give up. It's impossible. You need to continue moving forward. Only in that case, big things will come.
So Taras, I want to give you a visual and the audience a visual. When you're in school, you have a final exam, right? When you're in high school or when you're in college, you have the exam, and you and your friends are like, scared, right? Like you're like, oh man, I got to pull an all-nighter. I got to study for this stupid exam. Why didn't you study for the last 5 days? Bro, I was out drinking, So it's like, okay, well, whatever the reasons be, right? Like, so you didn't study. Now you got to study. Why are you stressing? Why are you stressing? What is the dynamic that's happening over there? You got to pass that class. And if you don't pass that class, you don't move to the next level. Whether it's high school to college, college to real life, you got to pass that class. So the same way, when you're in startup land and you keep failing and having all these struggles, it's the universe testing you, whether you're worth it to go to the next grade. Are you worth it? Are you putting in the effort to be able to go to the next level? And if you're going to give up, it's the equivalent of saying, I can't get this math problems in 11th grade. I'm not going to 12th grade. Screw high school. It doesn't work. You put in the time, even if it's all night, and you make it happen. And the same thing applies throughout life. Anything worth having, requires a crap ton of tests. It tests you. Well, are you worthy of this? And that's where you have to grow into it. I was speaking once and somebody asked me a question about so how do you feel about having accomplished everything that you've accomplished, right? And I'm like, I've never accomplished a single thing in my life. And the audience was silent. And this was a very big crowd. And they're like, what the hell why is he on stage if he hasn't accomplished anything? He's coming clean. He hasn't accomplished anything. I'm like, no, I have never accomplished anything that I set out to do. Because what happens is I had to become the person that accomplishes that and gets that thing. I didn't get it. The guy who set out to get that, let's use an example. Let's say it's a car. Let's say you want a brand new BMW, whatever. You could put in whatever car in there. You want to get a BMW, and now here you are. You don't have enough money. You don't just get it. You get tested by the universe, and you have to become the guy who has a BMW. So you're not the one who gets it. So the same way, no matter what goals I set, I have to evolve and become the person who eventually gets those things. I'm not the one who gets it. So there is a manner of evolution, hard work, and morphing into the guy who normally gets those things. So you become that guy. You're becoming that next guy. The schlep who said, I'm living in my basement and I'm going to get a brand new $58,000 BMW. You're not going to get it. You're not the guy who's going to get it. It's that guy you become.
Definitely. So it's like evolution grows through transformation always to higher level, from even the higher level to the perspective of what you wanted to achieve. So it's like you need to understand, like, if you want something, who is the people who own this? And after, it's not only about physical stuff, it's about knowledge, it's about business, it's about everything. And once you have this understanding, you need to start working on changing yourself to the position when you become exactly that guy. And boom, you have what you wanted. So that
nobody's on your side. Nobody, don't make the mistake of thinking somebody's on your side. Your siblings are not on your side. Your parents, especially your parents, are not on your side. And I'll tell you how. Because they're conditioned into a system where, what do you mean you're going to become, you know how many startups fail? You want to be an actor? Are you insane? Like, they'll be like, why don't you just become a doctor? Why don't you just become an engineer? So they're not really on your side. And every time you fail, they're like, now this person's going to go back. I'm so happy. So, it's very rare. I'm not saying all parents are like that, but there's that social dynamic that they're operating under where you're going to be alone. And this is very important for your peer group, you, me, people like us, to say, hey, you're not alone. We are walking the path and we know how hard it is. And we are your support group because, you're not going to find it in your social circle. And you're certainly not going to find it in your college friends or something because they're probably looking for you to fail because you make them look bad.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I would agree here with you. That's the spirit of the entrepreneurship, which everyone should have if they want to be successful in that area. So yeah, interesting. But another question, which maybe our audience will have about this mindset, which you're speaking about. How did you get on this?
How did I get to this mindset?
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's a very long journey. Well, wow, I've never been hit with this question. Good for you. This is one I was not expecting. Like, after a while, the questions you're gonna get. There'll be a little variation here and there, but like you get like something out of left field. Now I gotta hit this right. Okay, so years and years of studying others is how you get here. Whether it's through books, whether it's through in-person. And today we can use YouTube. We can learn about other people's mindsets, how they operate. So it's theory and practice combined, and an unwilling to submit to mediocrity. So you want to have that resolution that you're just going to keep fighting. Nothing is going to stop you from achieving not some big money goal, but necessarily your peace and what your voice was brought here for. So these are the things you need to be chasing, because the money you're going to leave here, right? I don't care how much money you have. You can't take it with you. The money's going to stay here. Yes, you'll have some experiences, but what do you remember? If you buy, people in crypto buy Lambos. You buy one Lambo, you're so happy. You buy the second Lambo, feeling is a lot less. After your third or fourth, you could care less. You're like, kick this Lambo. You want it, take it for a drive. You don't care anymore. But if you had one good interaction with somebody, then you remember that for the rest of your life. I've had people come to me years later and say, I heard you speak and you changed my life. You made a difference. And after that, I just went in a complete other direction. I felt empowered. I was coming from nothing and I became somebody. There it is. Right there. That's worth more than $1 million because I get to take that with me for life. The money comes and money goes. I buy some shit coins and I lose $1 million. Like you can easily lose that money. Oh shit, the project failed, but that stays with you forever. So it's the give back, it's the experiences when you go to a new place and you get this experience, you're standing in front of a giant waterfall or something that intrigues you, then that's something you're going to carry for the rest of your life. So it's about capturing your experiences. It's about living a life that's defined under your own terms, nobody else's.
Yeah, that's actually everything you gain. It's your experience, first of all, and actually, and the biggest wealth is experience and how you're using that experience in your life. So
I'm sorry, I'm cutting you off, but I don't want to forget this point. I have a challenge for your audience because what I just said requires a first fundamental step. And you know what that is? You have to sit with a piece of paper and you have to write down what is valuable to you. What is important to you has to be written down, and it has to be written down to the micro stuff. Like on my list, I like iced tea, especially peach iced tea. It's on my freaking list. It's bullshit. Like who puts that there? No, I want a Lambo. That's on my list, right? Like peach tea? No, I have the stupid peach tea there too because it tells me something about myself. It tells me, so you can have big wins, you can have little wins. If I go and grab a peach iced tea after this, hey, that's a little win. I like that. I know I like that, and I'm treating myself, right? So you got to make the list. But the problem is, and this is a challenge for the audience. Almost 100, isn't that crazy? Almost 100% of the people won't write it on paper. They won't make the list. They'll be like, yeah, I heard this guy talk. Yeah, he makes a lot of sense. I'm going to do that. Fucking didn't do it. How long? I didn't do it this week, next year, 3 years, 5 years. Bro, I've known you for 5 years. You haven't put it on paper. So why aren't they putting it on paper? There's a specific reason why people don't put it on paper. It's not just because they're forgetful. Shit, you don't forget the stupidest things and you still engage in them. But you don't remember to do your list. The reason why you don't do it is because there's a fundamental challenge when you're writing.
Yeah.
When you write things, make sure you write things that shake your hand. Don't just put like the peach iced tea. Put things in there that make you worried that, oh my God, am I even capable of doing this? Can I even do this? So why is your hand shaking as you're writing it? Try it. Anybody who's listening, try it. If you write some really big goals, a little bit of shaking of your hand starts occurring. Why? Because your subconscious is saying, oh my God, this fucking guy, now I have to deliver this to him. So the subconscious starts organizing to deliver that to you. But if you put something really big on there, it's making your hand shake because it's like, please don't write this. Please don't write this because you're going to make me do this. Are you insane? Like, so that's why people don't write the list, because once you write it, it became real. And now you have to follow through. And the universe is already aligning in the background to deliver it to you, but it requires those tests. So those tests, you're not going to want to go through. It's like, oh shit, if I do that, it's far better to hang out in Disney World, in fantasy land, where, yeah, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do, it's easy to talk. But once you put it on paper, it becomes real, and you're going to have to put in all that goddamn effort. Instead of hanging out with your friends, you got to put in all those all-nighters alone, by yourself, with little to eat, and you got to make that shit happen. So most people will talk a big game, but they won't be true to themselves and actually write the list and go on that journey, because that journey is painful and they know that subconsciously. So they avoid it. So the first and foremost thing you got to do is identify who you are and then write your goddamn list.
Exactly. You know, like that list is the first action you can do towards success. Without actions, it's just bullshit. You're just talking, you're just knowing, you're just hearing, you're just watching, you're just exploring, but you're not doing something. You're just like only in exploring mode. And that's a big difference. And honestly, I've tried this method before. So it helped me a lot to understand who I am, first of all, what is important for me, and what I have to do next to take care about all of these things. Actually, after that, I just transformed that list into, like a wheel of life. So it was like a sector 1, health, sector 2, work, sector 3, a relationship, etc., etc., etc. And for each of this sector, I received like a clear understanding of what is valuable for me and what is good, what is bad. And that thing, just like, all right, so if we will continue reflecting about this, I will be able to improve every sector of my life just for 1%. And boom, the magic will happen after that, because you already did something, you explored, you made action which is painful for you, because it's not good when you're exploring yourself, when you're just like saying, no, I did this wrong, I did this bad, I did this, I just did that before, I just skip that part. And actually, when you're doing that, it's painful. But through that pain, you can understand what you need to do next. And as you said, the universe starting to work, because the universe see that you already did something towards the stuff you wanted to achieve. And like here, I remember another quote. I don't know who just said it, but if you see struggles in your life, if you see issues and like disappointments and etc., you shouldn't be surprised if you ask the universe for growth. So if you ask for growth, if you want to grow, it's definitely, like you don't need to be surprised about every shit which is going on, because that's what you ask. To receive something, you need to do something. You need to go through this.
Yeah, you have to. The thing is, if you don't know where you're going, eventually you'll get there. Wherever that lands you. So you got to know where you're going. And this is very, very important. And that goes back to the list. And then if you don't have a list, you're just chugging along. Oh, so you think I should be in crypto to make money? Great, I'm into crypto. Oh, should I be in this to make money? Okay, what, stock market? Robinhood? Okay, I'll get Robinhood. Bro, stock market and crypto market are two different animals with their own dynamics. So either you're a crypto person. I'm not going to say crypto bro. Either you're a crypto person or you're Wall Street guy, so, or anything else. I mean, if you're into arts, creative endeavors, like, are you an artist or are you not? And if you're an artist, then you need to go all the way and, perform your art, because that's what we desperately need. We don't need more finance guys. We need more art so we can enrich our soul, not just, our bank accounts, which won't get us anywhere in the long term anyway, because in the long term, we're all dead. So, in the long term, the only thing that enriches your soul is the experiences, something visual you captured that moved you. And that only comes from our creative side.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Here, I don't like have anything else. I just fully agree with what you said that place. I hope, like that part will help anyone who is listening this to start acting just right after listening this. They need to start right now.
Action.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay, actually, I suggest, like to make a short, like switch, like to dive deeper into one as well interesting topic, which can be, like interesting for our listeners around your persona and things like that. It's like your primary focus right now, like where you are in crypto, in anything else, and what is the next steps, what is the challenges you are facing right now, because as we can understand right now, you don't have any challenges. You just have opportunities, which you always, or every challenge and struggle, you change it into opportunity. So that's already a big power. But it's interesting where you are right now. What is the like primary focus you have?
Yeah, so the world is morphing and changing, and you're right that opportunity always comes disguised as a challenge. So you need to see the opportunity side of this coin, because if you're only looking at the one side of the coin and you're like, oh my God, a challenge, flip it. Flip it, literally flip it, flip it, flip the script, flip it, and you'll see that there's an opportunity in it. So what's growing right now, two things are standing out within crypto. We've come a long way, baby. in crypto. We went from like, there was a time when in crypto, I would say Bitcoin and somebody would say, God bless you, because they didn't know Bitcoin from a hole in the wall, right? So it was a different world. But now, like the US is becoming more regulatory friendly to crypto, which changes a lot of dynamics, right? Because what happens in the US still affects the world. I'm smiling because, you know, we're becoming more a multipolar world. So it's not the same, but still it's a big anchor. And, you know, what happens here happens, affects other places. So that's a very good positive. What I firmly always wanted from crypto was the ability to decentralize things. And I think that's something that's happening more with the real world assets, with the RWAs. So RWA, real world assets, tokenization. So the tokenization component, just for your audience who may not know what RWAs is, it's like the same thing as if you understood meme coins and NFTs. An NFT is just a non-fungible token. So what does fungible mean? It just means something that cannot be, you know, affected. It stays the way it is. So non-fungible token was assigned to JPEGs. That's why you had Bored Apes and, you know, things like that. So we did the memes, and we primarily did the memes because we had stupid amounts of money that happened post-COVID. Now we're like, okay, well, that's not going to fly. A JPEG is not the way you capture value. So you need to capture value in another way. But that capacity within crypto was always there to tokenize real world assets. So when you tokenize real world assets, what does that mean? It can mean anything and everything. So you could fractionalize a business, you could fractionalize a piece of real estate, so far more people can buy it. So in today's world, if you have an apartment and that apartment costs like, say, $1 million, right? I know that's an expensive apartment, but let's just say it's $1 million apartment as a test case. So you have $1 million apartment. How many people can afford $1 million apartment? More importantly, how many people can afford the mortgage payment on $1 million apartment? So even if you have $300,000, you're a baller, you got money, you put $300,000. How are you going to pay the $700,000 monthly payment on that principal? You can't. So majority of people cannot buy anything out there, especially people who are just coming into the world, like, you know, post-college. They're like, yeah, good luck. I can't buy that. I'll have to work 50 years before I can buy something like that. So with that, you don't get to capture the increase in asset valuations. So you see other people like, oh, so-and-so bought an apartment for 700,000, sold it for $1 million. Good for them. They got 300,000, but you can't get in because it makes a lot of sense why you can't get in. Now, if you were able to fractionalize that apartment ownership and you were able to buy $10,000 worth of that apartment, all of a sudden the narrative changes, because now your 10,000 will become 13,000 if that price appreciates at 30%. I don't know if 13 is 30%. I'm just doing numbers off the top of my head, but somewhere along that line, you will capture that value. It's the same mindset change that doesn't occur in Bitcoin, where people are like, Bitcoin, I can't buy Bitcoin. It's $120,000. Who told you have to buy an entire Bitcoin? You know, you could buy $1,000 or $10,000 worth of Bitcoin. And if Bitcoin actually goes to $1 million one day, you know, your $100,000 Bitcoin became $1 million, and now your 10,000 became 100,000. So, you know, it's that fractionalization component in that is now just coming into play. So why would governments do this? At first, they were scared. Lord knows, I know, because, you know, we used to advise governments on this. This is always a problem for governments, but now they're seeing another angle. You have to speak to everybody's needs, right? So now they're like, wait. So before you had this one rich guy who goes in and buys that $1 million and we can tax him. But you mean to tell me we can tax all these people? You know, we can tax on their earnings. They're all going to make money and we're going to get our hot little hand on that percentage money. All of a sudden, they're like, maybe we'll look into this. So this is what's going to change out, where regulation will change, because you got to give them that carrot that, hey, you'll get a piece of this. So why not do this? And what does that do? It decentralizes and allows egalitarianism. It allows you to buy more into you know, the investment world. Also, because of the fact that, like, you could even do that for a restaurant. If you have a nice big mom and pop restaurant, if they tokenize it and sell a portion of it, they can get more money. They can open up a second one. They can improve their business. And you're supporting either that business or you're buying it because, you know, hey, this business is rocking. I want a piece of it. So tokenization, NFT, tokenization of RWAs, real world assets, is going to be $1 trillion economy. So that's just coming to play. and we'll all be a part of it. Now, the key is people getting involved and people trying to understand all of this. So this is some of the newer developments, the regulatory easements that are occurring, and simultaneously the development of fractional ownership of any real world asset.
Yeah, definitely. Now actually I understand, like when you are where you are right now and what you are going to do next. Interesting. But according, like about the regulatory, like it's interesting to dive deeper into this topic. Like, of course, we understand the policy of the US is changing and things like that is happening. But in your honest opinion, what is the next step towards crypto? Like when, for example, let's imagine one day when it will be fully integrated to the US financial system. So first of all, let's talk about crypto in general. Bitcoin was created just to be not connected to the government, just to be decentralized and flexible, but fully transparent. Here we see the trend, like cryptocurrencies in general, this world becoming more controlled by the government. And in my opinion, it's a bit conflicting, the general idea and vision behind cryptocurrencies and things like that. So in your honest opinion, is it a good sign or not? That regulations and connection from the government.
So this has always been a cat and mouse game. People will say, oh, I remember Bitcoin is going to free us all because we, the populace, are buying Bitcoin. The governments and the rich people, they can all go to hell, jump off a cliff. Well, Bitcoin is for us, right? Well, right now, Bitcoin's at 120,000. Who's buying Bitcoin? Is it you and me or the wealthy? So the wealthy are accumulating Bitcoin now, but it's the same thing as like when, you have a mine and you see a diamond in the mine and you're like, oh my God, I found a diamond. Who buys your diamond? Your fellow poor person? No, some rich dude comes along and says, I'll pay you $50 for it, then sells it for 500,000. But that's a separate problem. But the thing is that it's always the rich. It all trails up to the rich. So how do we beat this cat and mouse game where you're always playing this cat and mouse game? Is the populace has to innovate at a rate and speed where you are.
Hello, but before we will continue, I just want to let you know where you can find the best product design and web development services. And it's the company called Oliinyk. So here in our company, you can get the most tremendous and exciting UI UX design services combined with web development skills. Moreover, you can use our excellent calculator staff just to collect your order because again, Oliinyk is where unicorns are made. And if you want to get your $1 billion company, you definitely need to have a nice design and development co-founder. And Oliinyk focusing on B2B, startups, products, any other technical company, especially in Web3, AI, and fintech fields. So here you can see a bit more about our benefits against agencies, freelancers, hiring processes. So it's always better to have your own in-house team. So don't hesitate. Explore our services in our website, oliinyk.com. Explore our case studies and let's make something beautiful. So looking forward for you below. Thank you so much for watching this episode and let's move on.
Allow the rich to eat, but simultaneously the masses also are getting in on the action and moving up the social ladder. So when you have fractionalization ownership, you will actually achieve more egalitarianism because a lot more people will be able to participate rather than just like, okay, Bitcoin is the safe asset. You don't want to buy that shitcoin because then you're going to lose all your money and you're going to look like like your portfolio is going to suffer. You're going to get disenfranchised. You're going to not be wanting to continue on your journey. So this is where some of these other innovations will come in to help all of us to get to the point of inverting that pyramid, right? Like, so the pyramid rolls up to the top, you invert the pyramid. And this is a big, big dynamic in humanity, especially right now, where the power is getting more and more centralized to the few and the rest are just there trying to get by. But here's an empowering and controversial thing to say.
Yeah.
The people at the top, great, they have resources. Their greatest resource is their mind. Are you really going to tell me that the people at the bottom don't have a mind?
No.
They don't have an edge on that. Everybody comes into this world with a similar sized brain. It's just what you put into this brain that makes the difference. So the container is the same. It's what you're putting into that container. And there's the empowerment. Because the wealthy are putting things into that brain that are completely different than watching the new football team.
Yeah.
They don't give a shit. They buy the football team. They don't watch the game. You and I are stupid enough to sit there and watch the game and buy that $200 jersey that says the name of the team. Who gives a shit? Like, what are you proving, bro? Cheap entertainment? Why don't you take that same money and buy one stupid, portion of Bitcoin or some stock or anything you can find that's an investment? And that's what's going to allow you to grow. But it's all about what you're putting in the container. And the thing that we can change is what we put inside the container. And there's your empowerment.
Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely the idea behind it. Now I understand, like the full philosophy about it. And yeah, we need to think big, and we need to check the whole picture before making, like any decisions, consequences, or just any actions, especially in the financial topics, because it's always the game of two ends. Like, we have every economy works in that way. Someone's buying, someone's spending, and it's always in that case. If one side will be broken, boom, it will be collapse.
So what causes it? Let's just go for a second into it deeper. What causes this is two things: emotions and insecurities. Because if you're gonna buy $1,000 shirt or something, whatever, a brand name shirt or something, designer, why are you buying it? Because you want to have social equity. Because somewhere you're not okay with wearing a $30 shirt. Because you're feeling inferior, or you think that this is going to buy you social equity, but that's $1,000 of hard-earned money of yours. It should go straight into investment. And if you buy a $30 shirt, and if your crowd says, bro, you're such a cheap ass, you wear a $30 shirt, ha, 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 guess what? Delete them. Get rid of them. Have friends who will actually make fun of you for wearing a $1,000 shirt. That's how you get ahead in life.
Yeah. And moreover, it's like about the emotions as well. When you're making things like that, you are chasing emotions, and you want to, like be like someone else, or you just want to defend yourself from being, like caused by any influence, especially from the people, which is like authority for you. But that's a big stupid thing, because you are in different positions for sure. If you're wearing, like $30 shirt and someone's $1,000 shirt, it's a difference. And you need not just to be like that person, you need to become on reality like the person you want. That's from what we started. It's not just like to chase something or to repeat. It's always about becoming the person, becoming the thing which you wanted to be. And in that case, it will work. And as you said, like if you chasing emotions instead of being someone, you are in bad position. That's the end. It could cause the end.
And you have to keep checking yourself. It's not something that you learn once. You have to keep checking yourself. I bought a car that I really liked. It was just a muscle car, an American muscle car. So it wasn't that expensive. And one day I was speaking at an event, and when we got out, I told a friend of mine, I said, bro, you want me to drop you to your home? We come out, and he starts laughing. And, I thought he'd be so impressed by my car. Like, oh, bro, you have a muscle car. It's so cool. He starts laughing, and he can't stop laughing. I'm looking at him, and I'm like, what the hell's wrong with him? He goes, what the hell is this? What kind of a stupid thing did you do? I'm looking at him like, what? He's like, what are you doing? This is the dumbest thing you've ever done. And I have such a high value of you in my mind. And this is what you've done. You've bought this car. And I still wasn't processing at the rate that he was delivering. And he's like, you could have taken all this money and you could have put it in investments and you could have been driving a regular Toyota or some other beater and you would have been better off. Oh my God, I got this big lecture dropping him all the way to his home. But I was better for it.
Yeah.
That person is still my friend. Every time even if he's busy, I reach out and I'm like, hey, how you doing? And everything, because what he do? He kicked my ass. He kicked my ass in the right way. So even though I'm talking about this and everything and I've absorbed it, we all tend to fall into this trap of you deserve it. You did it. You need to take care of yourself. So we all do this stupid shit. But then you got to constantly check yourself and say, you know what? You're going to eventually get to a point where the empowerment will exceed any joy or emotional high that you'll get from this product. The empowerment will be greater than anything else that you get out of this.
Yeah. Honestly,
I'm sorry to turn this into a psychology thing. But
yeah,
psychology is
just
so important.
I'm diving into reflection right now, and just like, okay, what I'm doing related to this, can I be a good friend for myself as well? It's important, not only for someone else. I guess lots of people who will listen this will, take a pause right now to think about life, business, financial stuff, support, mindset, and real actions. What they need to do.
It's all related. It's all related. You have to be your best friend.
Yeah, because you support your friend in the hard times.
Best friends don't go into their friend's bank account and rob it for stupidities.
Yeah, exactly. It's a support. It's about support. You support your friend always with the advice, and now you need to do, and you always need to do as well for yourself. You need to be a good friend to yourself. In that case, you can always go forward.
Especially nowadays. I'm sorry, because, and I know we were going to touch on this, but this is probably the best segue to touch on this, is with the artificial intelligence growing at the rate it's growing, don't get comfortable with the way you make money right now. Majority of jobs are going away. Newsflash. So with jobs going away, there is no guarantee. It's like when you have a financial perspective, prospectus, if you turn it around, on the back it says past performance is no indication of future performance. So this applies to each and every one of us. Whatever way you're making money right now, it's not guaranteed anymore. So you need to be very sober. If you're a little punch drunk, get yourself something that makes you sober, because things are about to change, and things are about to change very fast. Just yesterday they released ChatGPT 5. So things are already accelerating to the point where it's just going to be one day it's going to hit. So most people are like, oh yeah, that's great, I use it as a tool. It's not going to remain a tool very long, and it's coming for your jobs. And this is something that we all need to be ready for. And if we can't collectively be ready for it, at least you can cover your bases for yourself.
Definitely. Actually, the future is here and the threat is there, but it's always about self-improving. Even with the AI stuff, it's, in my opinion, it's not about competition. It's about improving yourself. Because again, if you have two people and one of them working smart but working with AI smart, is definitely a better fit for any business, because again, that's a guarantee that person works smart, and it's a couple of times better than without it, because we can see why AI was created, only to support, increase, and automate stuff. And good tool in the smart hands, it's always a big result.
Yeah. Well, I think we've reached the point where AI was not necessarily created to support us. It was created to replace us, because that's the level we're achieving now. And that's the only reason why they say support us is primarily because otherwise we'd all have a revolution and we wouldn't want this to happen. So it's like, okay, it's going to support us, but just go use these programs. I don't care which one you're on, but you can truly see that, oh man, this thing is going to replace me. So it's not like, it's like that person you're training at your job, and you're like, man, this person is smart. They have a PhD. I have a lousy bachelor's degree, and I'm training this person, but eventually the boss is going to call me in and say, listen, I'm sorry, but your job is gone. And that is exactly where we're at. So right now you're using it, but eventually it won't need you. And I know this is very, very disturbing. It's not positive, but at the same time, it's better to be aware of the situation that we're in, rather than just be, happy-go-lucky and be like, oh yeah, I just use these tools. Okay, pretty soon we're gonna find out who the tool is.
Yeah, honestly, Jayden, I suggest next thing. We already had our own conversation, so I would suggest to, if that episode you have, let's say, like 100 comments and 100 likes, let's make a second part about AI only, about technology, about improvement, how it can affect life, work, everything about that. I guess it will be as well interesting, because I'm pretty sure that you are using this a lot in your journey. I'm using this a lot, and I guess it will be a big portion of value for everyone, because AI, to be honest, right now, it's not a specific domain or niche or sector. It's everything. You can automate even your kitchen stuff. You can automate even your just rest without work. You can automate even your entertainment using AI to find something interesting. AI is everywhere, and that industry right now is like trying to push through every borders we are trying to create for it. So I really suggest to do one more session, but only about that.
Yeah, that's a topic in itself. Its ramifications are real, and it's going to come back to be something that's going to be a pivot moment. It's going to be like that. It's the equivalent of like if an alien ship landed on Earth tomorrow. How would our lives change? It would just change. Like, it's different. Yesterday it's like when COVID landed. 2000, what was it? 2019 and 2020 were completely different mindsets, right? Like all of a sudden, boom, it changed. So this is how AI is going to be as soon as we hit AGI. Actually, as soon as we announce AGI, because the announcement will lag the accomplishment. So you're actually going to get AGI first, and it'll only be known in inner circles. So people won't know that it's already arrived. But once it's let known to the people, then, all bets are off.
Yeah.
Sorry to be wrapping up on such a negative. We started so positive. We were talking about startup, empower, fight the power, get out there, do your shit, and they're all like, look, you're all dead anyways.
Honestly,
so that's not the point.
That was good, because actually we're talking about things which will definitely help our listeners, to move forward, to push things hard. And again, the name of the show which I've created is break the walls, because every entrepreneur should break the walls to be successful. And the walls, it's like struggles, issues, problems, challenges, and we're facing this every fucking day. And I guess that conversation helps a lot of people, to stand, to be strong, and not, give up. And I hope that conversation will motivate them to break their walls. That was the name, that was the idea of this show. So I'm happy, when we switched the conversation from educational points into specifically that type of speech, because that's so valuable. And I want to say thank you for you, first of all, personally, and secondly, from the whole audience, because I'm pretty sure after this hour of listening, they definitely wanted to do the same for you.
I wanna just wrap this up with something positive, because we shouldn't leave them there. Here's the thing. In a world that is changing so fast, and AI is going to come in and replace all the people sitting in the cubicles, it makes even more sense to do what the entrepreneurs are doing. Because if you don't even become a successful entrepreneur, having ownership of yourself and knowing that you are in charge, there's no 15th or 30th paycheck coming your way, then you will find the resources that we're not all going to die if AI comes in, right? So AGI comes in, we're not dead, we're still here. It's just that how do we feed ourselves? How do we thrive and live? So you're going to need far more of those entrepreneurial skills than you would that hanging out in the cubicle skills. So you might as well start practicing now.
Yeah, definitely. Actually, it's about building. Yeah, I would agree here with you. You know, like that's the best ending of this show today. You need to build yourself. If you will do this, anything else will not scare you. You will always, you know, like be one step forward because you know who you are and you build in yourself brick by brick. So that's the most important, to always move forward.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining me. That was amazing. I'm pretty excited and I'm so happy that we did that. I guess everyone who's watched that will be as well inspired, and I hope after this episode everyone will put a piece of paper and will make this list of things which is valuable for them and will start acting. I hope that will be, you know, like the best result of this conversation.
Absolutely. That's the one thing you owe to yourself. Each and every one of us.
Yeah. All right. Thank you everyone for watching us. Boom. I will cut this here. Thank you so much, Jayden. It was amazing. I was in shock. You're amazing person, you know, like from the motivational standpoint. I was never expected that. That's powerful. That's amazing.
I saw you over there become a little quiet. I was like, oh, some of this is hitting home.
No,
it's like, oh shit, I haven't written my list.
No, I'm just like, oh, you know, like big thing. I just like, I was like a listener. I just like started to dive into these topics, into reflecting on this, into like, oh, that's a big thing. Wow, I never saw it in that way. So I'm just like, oh, you don't know, you are the host, you need to continue. But I'm just like, boom, started, you know, like to dive inside myself, just reflect on this. So that's really powerful. I'm really surprised. That's you made my day by motivating me as well, because it was as well for me the amazing show, amazing mindset. That's the reason why I, you know, like forget about our list and started to talk about this more, because I'm just like, no, here is the value. We need to talk about this mindset, about this stuff, because again, that's something which I never saw before. So thank you so much for sharing this. That's priceless.
Awesome. Well, I'm glad. I'm glad for two things. I'm glad it went well, but I'm also glad that you're one of my Ukrainian brothers and sisters. You know, like, because I was like, wait a minute, his name sound, after we talked on the phone, and you were like, oh, you were a little too happy about me being in Ukraine. I'm like, maybe he's Ukrainian, bro. Like his name isn't Polish, it's Ukrainian. I'm like, oh, cool. You know, he's probably Ukrainian. So hopefully one day you and I will share a nice dinner on Krishchatik in Ukraine. You know, that would be the best thing.
Deal. I guess that's a deal. We make another show about AI, but the third one should be definitely in Kiev after, you know, like our dinner. And actually everyone will watch this because it will be legendary. I'm pretty sure.
Absolutely. I look forward to that day every day. And I'm so glad we connected. If you need anything, reach out anytime. And whenever you want to do the AI one, we can do the AI one as well.
Thank you so much. All right. So I wish you to have a nice travel, because I remember you are going to travel next week. And thank you so much again for joining me today. And I will update you with the, you know, like editing, how it will look like. So once you will be approved, I will approve this with you, we will have this publication. I guess it will happen in the next 2 weeks or so. So I will actually follow up with this.
Awesome. Pleasure.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.